How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson, and we're coming live from New York City as we always do. Hope everyone's having a great day out there today. Today has truly been a blessing to me, and it's been a blessing. Hopefully, it's been a blessing to you guys as well. So, we are back with a new episode. This episode is going to be a good one. So I want you guys to really tap in and tune in. I know a lot of people can really relate to this, and there's a lot of individuals that may not be able to relate to this at this moment, but you will be able to. As soon as your business starts to scale, as soon as your business starts to scale to a certain point, you will need help. So you will have to hire your weaknesses, things that you do not really know how to do. You do not have to know how to do everything in the company. You need to have an understanding, but not to the point where you are a full-blown professional in every single area. So this episode is called this. Sorry about that. But this episode, if I can get down here to it, down here to my notes. Just give me 1 second. This episode is called the ROI of investing in your employees. So the ROI in investing in your employees. So I'm going to give you 3 talk points as we usually do as we go over, and that's just for the duration of time. So just guys, just go ahead and tap in. So number 1, I see employees as an investment, not an expense. That's one thing you really have to understand. You have to see employees as an investment. The more that you invest in someone, ROI is a return on investment. For those who didn't know, I know you guys probably know, but when you work pay for like team development, see, I would rather work with an employee that's passionate, that's creative, that has good integrity, it has those core values and those core skills and that core integrity, you know what I mean, that is really a good foundation. Someone that's fired up for the job. Those are the employees you want to invest in. And I'm not saying you don't want to invest in somebody that's competent. You do want to invest in someone that's competent, or hire someone that's competent, especially to scale a company or to get a company from one stage to another stage. Okay, that's completely fine. But you're going to need to learn how to build employees that are fired up, that want to learn, that are enthusiastic, that are creative, that brings that fresh new vibe. They may not know how to do everything on a professional level, but that's where we come in with team development. So you can, set aside a budget for team development, but those guys more than likely will be able to stay with you longer when you help them to build a skill set within the company that and give them an opportunity to be able to grow within the company that they wouldn't have had without a degree or without some type of connection within the company. Those guys that are really passionate, really love their jobs, really just need that shot or that chance, those employees will stay with you 15, 20, 30 years. And I also like to say, man, and another investment is actually coming with perks, some type of perks or incentives for them reaching certain types of goals or certain milestones within the company. That helps the employees as well. So I've learned that investing in my employees isn't simply another business expense. It can be one of my greatest investments, what we just talked about, which it really is. So training, development, and mentorship. It helps employees build the skills they need to perform at a higher level. So people need that. People need someone that's going to stick with them, even through the rough times, even through those mistakes, even through those areas that they're slipping up in, or that they're not as, I wouldn't say not as passionate, but that they're not that developed in. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of turnover in companies, but not only because the company culture there is toxic company culture that's functioning, but also because a lot of those employees that I was just talking about that comes in as an entry-level employee, but they're passionate, they're creative, they're coming to add value to the company. Those employees get snuffed out because you have someone who is competent, who has a degree, that is using that degree as some type of educational seniority over that employee that is passionate, that is creative, and that does not have that degree. So they can be used as gatekeepers to keep those employees that's going to scale the company, bring their creativity, take the company to another level. It's because the employees that are insecure within their own creative ability, or feel like that degree gives them some type of leverage over that employee, which it does to a certain point, because this lets me know that, like I said, you're competent, You have understanding of the tasks and responsibilities that are handed to you, the things that are delegated to you. You understand those things, and you can execute when it comes to those certain tasks. So that is understandable with a degree. But when I invest in people, I'm strengthening the capabilities of the entire organization. So you want to invest into your people. See, and I tell people this all the time. You want to build a company, you have to build the people. And once you build the people, and they build the company, and then the company helps to build you up. Helps you to make more money. It helps you to understand to go from 10 million to 50 million to 300 to 500, but you have to build the employees. The employees is what helps you to make the sales. You have a salesperson. That is an employee that you need to invest in. You need to send him to a workshop. You need to send him to a convention that talks more about sales. You need to take business trips that help your employees take notes and get better at their skill set, and that is ultimately an investment to your company and to you. So the goal is to have employees, is to develop people who can create greater value for the business. Number two, I measure return through performance and retention. So one thing I realized is return on employee investment isn't always immediate. It's not that's anything. Anything if anybody's an entrepreneur and they ever built a company, they understand that when you're building a company, you are not going to get an immediate return on investment. If you plant a seed in the ground, you're not going to plant a peach seed in the ground. You're looking for a full-blown peach tree the next day. It's not going to happen like that. So you have to really understand that when you invest in your employees, it's not always going to be immediate that you see that return on investment through that team development training. You have to give people time to fill those shoes. You have to give people time to step into that role and really get comfortable. It's like riding a bike. Once they scrape the knees, fall off a little bit, they understand where they mess up, then they will continue to jump on that bike and continue to move forward in life. So when employees have opportunities to grow, they have more reasons to stay and contribute. This is probably the worst thing that I could say. When you step into a job and there's no room for you to grow, and there's no way for you to, I would like to say, level up or to move to the next level in your career, people are more than likely to leave, or they may stay there because the pay is good, but they were more likely to go into entrepreneurship or take their degree and go to a place where they feel a little bit more valued. So you know what I mean? When a person's value does not add up, a person's pay can add up to their value, and their performance can also add up as well. But when they get to a point when the company culture snuffs out, treats pays a certain amount for their value, but doesn't give them the respect that their value is basically deserving of, they will leave that company. I believe that comes. So when employees have opportunities to grow, like I said, they stay. Reducing unnecessary turnover can protect the time, money, and knowledge a business has already invested into a team. So a stronger employee experience can ultimately create stronger businesses. So you want to make sure that you create a company culture where people feel like they love to come to work. You know what I'm saying? And no, nobody really, people say, man, but individuals do not like to go to work. I beg to differ. There are some individuals that wake up in the morning because you created a company and a company culture that is welcoming and that encourages its employees. People love to go to work. It gives them a purpose in life. You are getting paid to operate in your purpose, but to also build a company in the vision of the CEO or the business owner. So it gives people purpose. Number three, I build tomorrow's leaders from within. I've learned that some of my best future leaders may already be working inside my organization, which is also true. And if you help build them, they will help build you. And also, maybe you guys can collaborate too. Anybody that ever worked for me, I always let them know when you work here, and we're going to help you build a side business, whether it's a vending company, whether it's an online shop. So everyone that works with me, we also make sure that each employee has some type of side hustle or business that we help build with inside the business. So whether they stay with us or whether not, they will still be able to generate capital through some other form, stream of revenue. So leadership development creates a pipeline of people prepared to take on these greater responsibilities. But when I help my employees grow professionally, I'm also creating opportunities for my business to grow. So basically, the bottom line is that their return on investment, when it comes to investing in your employees, isn't measured in dollars. It's reflected and stronger teams, and you get better performance, you get greater retention, improved leadership, and a business that becomes more capable over time. So, man, you can solidify those certain positions to help people to grow inside of the company just by setting aside a budget to invest in your employees, team development, maybe some conventions, maybe some even online. Sometimes you don't have to leave the office. Online. One thing that I do within one of my companies is Tump Square Gardens Restaurant Company. One thing we do is every week we have an inspirational book of the week that I give my employees. So I buy probably 40 books, and what we'll do is I'll give out those books to the employees, and once a week we will have an inspirational book of the week, whether it has to do with self time management, energy management, whether it has to do with some self-help book or some book that can help to move the company forward and also to sharpen the employees. And they do have to write a small essay. It may be 2 paragraphs of what they learned from that book, so to help with team development. So this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. We're coming live from New York City, and this is the place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and visions. We'll see you guys back here next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.